Hi, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World, and this week, I don't know if you saw, but there was this white rapper out of Australia by the name of Iggy Azalea. I want to make sure I say it right. I might have said it wrong. The guys on the air with me are going to correct me if I did. And Iggy took this picture that she put up on Twitter or something, where she's with Ti, I think it's B.O.B. and somebody else, and she said, "Me and my niggas" in the caption. And I don't know about you, but I was taken aback. I don't like. First of all, I think that just that term, "my niggas," we need to work past that and get past using that language. But to kind of hear this come from a white hip hop artist who's been fed to us by white corporations who've basically taken their money and used that to promote the most ignorant parts of black culture to the world to make us think that the whole black community ain't nothing but a pack of niggas. That bothered me. So to talk about this, I wanted to bring in a couple guys that I just respect so much. On one side of me, I have Roger Suggs, excuse me, aka Vigilante. His name is spelled Vigalantee. His site is therealvigilante.com. He's an extraordinary hip hop artist out of Kansas City, Kansas. And I want to first ask Roger, how you doing today, brother?
I'm chilling, man. Just laid back in the cut at the other gig.
Cool, man. Cool. Yeah, you
Yeah,
know what?
hostile takeover of the conference room.
And I go back and forth between Roger and Vigilante, and so
You know,
I guess it's like Clark Kent, Superman. So
I hope so.
I don't know if you have a preference one way or the other.
It don't matter.
Okay,
Hey,
cool.
since we're branding vigilante, no, I'm joking.
There we go. Okay, Vigilante. All right, and on the other side of me, I have Yarima Karama, who is a very powerful artist, very powerful music. He's also I think he should be proudly represented as a 20-year veteran of the new Jim Crow. He did his 20 years, but I have so much respect for this brother because he told me when I first met him that he decided to turn that prison into a university. So he took the place that was designed to lock him up and he used it as an opportunity to free his mind. And I want to say, how you doing today, brother?
I'm good. I'm good, Dr. Boyce. Again, appreciative for the opportunity to be on with such great brothers such as yourselves and such pertinent subject matter. I mean, it's like you said at the start, some of this idiocracy we have to get past. And if we're not talking about it, it seems like nobody's talking about it. So
Exactly. Yeah, we need that counter conversation out there. And before we get started into the issue, I want to tell everybody that Yarima's joining us from outside, so there's a little background noise there, so sometimes he'll mute his mic to kind of minimize that. But we're gonna make it happen. We're gonna get the party started. So I'll start with you, Vigilante. What did you think when you saw this post by Iggy? Me and my niggas. So I guess she's one of the niggas now, or I don't know what she was trying to do. It seems like it happens about once every 6 or 7 months. You get a white person that thinks that there's something else, and they get too comfortable with black culture, and they end up offending half of the black community. What did you think when you saw that?
I think it's I think it's typical. It's the new hip hop that you see now. So I wasn't really surprised because of her being deep into that music style with Ti and them and southern type rap. Not we had New York rappers on what I think it was Kanye West and the actress Gwyneth Paltrow who did some about her boys in Paris, right?
Niggas
So
in
we see
Paris, yep.
yeah. So we've seen this before. I think by her being from where she's from, they're looking at it from. It's almost like to be serious. When you think about when Emmett Till went down to South, was he prepped on what he couldn't say and not say? About hey, down there you got to be careful about what you say. And I think that they don't prep these stars that look up to their culture, to our culture, so much. They give them these so-called honorary pass to say that you're my nigga, you're my nigga, and so they feel comfortable because they figuring if the people I'm around that are black are not biting my head off, then hey, it must be cool. So then we see it and we're like, what are y'all doing? And they look like some bojangling fools. You know what I'm saying? Because it's saying me and my nigga in the picture of our history of what we've been through, but we've diluted it because we use it for so much that they feel that hey, since I'm into this culture, I do this style of music, they are co-signing me, then why not?
Mm.
That's how I look at it. So it's typical to me.
Okay, so you remember, I'm going to ask you this, man. You don't really. It's interesting. I've never really heard Eminem make a mistake like this, right? I've seen Eminem as an artist not just produce extraordinary music over the years, but he's always had a respect and deference for the culture that I don't see from other artists. That, at least that's been my perception. Do you think it's a coincidence that Eminem has never been, taking a picture and said, "Yeah, I'm with my niggas," or do you think that there is a line there where you've got some people who understand where the lines are drawn and who respect the culture versus those who are there to capitalize on the culture or are somehow just fascinated with thuggery and coonery and all this other stuff?
Well, I think with M personally, I think he respects the culture. He comes from an era that respects that culture, and more importantly, Eminem respects lyrical content. So I don't think it's a matter of he can't say it. He's one of the hottest rappers in the world right now, and has been for a minute. He could easily get away with saying it, but he hasn't because he respects the culture enough. And there's another thing.
Uh-oh.
The other thing that plays a pertinent role in this is as Brother Vigilante said, the condoning. We condone that activity. I don't know if you brothers remember, but there was a white female rapper out of Oakland that started a big stir about the N-word, and what it did is it pitted Oakland against LA, because you had a lot of the Oakland rappers that were saying, yeah, it's cool. And then you had the game saying, if she came around here with that, she'd get smacked right in her face. So it was kind of like, some people are saying, no, we're not accepting that. But you always have that group that is saying, yeah, it's cool. And as long as they feel like it's condoned, as long as they feel like it's acceptable, they're going to continue doing it.
So Vigilante, is it her fault? I mean, Iggy is not that old. I think she is about 23 or 24 years old. She's from Australia. She moved here when she was about 16, and it sounds like her career is off to a blast off. I think she's only the fourth artist ever to have a song on her debut album hit #1 on the Billboard charts. So she's absolutely killing it. Do you blame her when she does this, or do you blame us for kind of letting it go sometimes?
I think it's a mix. I think that she's young and she's I'm not going to stick up for her. I think it's something that she should know, but then again, we can't assume nothing when it comes to hip hop. And to just backtrack real quick, Eminem got in trouble early in his career by using the N word in his career before he got the record deal. There was some songs that came out about him using actually dissing black women, and he caught a lot of heat from that. So Eminem has learned the lesson the hard way, in the same way that Iggy probably can learn if given the opportunity. He actually learned that lesson because back when he was beefing with Benzino and all those guys, that stuff came out. Some of his old friends put out some raps of Eminem rapping and dissing black women and stuff like that.
Right.
He wasn't really a good rapper then. He was horrible. He was horrible. That's why it's so amazing to see how good he is now than what he was when we was listening to that crap when he was dogging out black women. But as for Iggy, because I guess his excuse was that he had broke up, where a black girl broke his heart. So he said that all black women are gold diggers and so on. So like Eminem, get in line. But anyway, let's get back to I'm just joking. Hey, boys know why I'm saying that, because I just had a lady just rip me a new one on Ratchet Girl. But for Iggy, I think it's the handler's fault, and then what she got to do is be a little smart. See, what we do all the time, we invite people in our culture of the good things, like the hip hop, the money, the swag, and feeling good about yourself. But we need to invite her into the Emmett Till story, the struggle, the things that going to Jim Crow laws, all these things that affected black people, and give her a lesson that way. And I guarantee you, if we did it that way, they wouldn't want to cross that line, because sometimes they don't have the knowledge, to know the reason why we're mad at this. Because they're seeing that, hey, if so-and-so is co-signing it, why are you mad? Why y'all hating on me? I love your culture. I'm doing right. I love your rap. But nobody is telling that. You know why? Because most of those blind Negroes do not know their history either. That's how you get that Emmett Till statement with Lil Wayne and Future. That thing that you knocked out the box with PepsiCo, because these guys say these things and then they want to get mad when we see a white rapper say it. But we need to do it like what Yarima said. We got to stop condoning it because they feel like if I'm around big bullies and the big bullies tell me to cuss this guy out, I'm feeling kind of secure that I can cuss that guy out. Even though he can floor me, but these big bullies say it's okay. Someone say, hey man, what you gonna do? And don't feel like there's gonna be repercussions because I got these big boys with me and they're co-signing me and they ain't pulling me to the side and say you can't use that word. To me, it's just simple artist development, as in of what to say, PR prepping of what you can't say, and that's what is not there because she is so comfortable. Think about this: she is so comfortable to tweet that. Knowing if she didn't know, then her handlers should know that Gwyneth Paltrow got in trouble. Justin Bieber just got some ridicule over using the word. So to say that, you got to feel pretty comfortable in doing that.
Interesting.
You know, I want to cut in there too, because another important point, and I don't want this missed, and everything that you said, Vigilante, is correct. And apologies, I did forget about that scenario with Eminem until you just reminded me. Love the fact that you got that history, brother. Love you for that. But another important fact that she might feel, and important that you said we have to teach. She might feel comfortable saying it. You know why, Dr. Boyce? Because they still got a basic caste system going on over in Australia. Let's not forget about the indigenous peoples over there. So she might feel like saying that N-word is very appropriate because that's how they're still carrying them over there. I just read a story recently about that. And they're not being treated too well. So we can talk about hip-hop culture, people coming to the... what we do is we probably, and I'm not going to sit here and assume, but from that culture that she comes from, we might have just reinforced everything that she's been taught and believes anyway by allowing her that. So that lesson needs to be taught. And when it's not taught, it becomes acceptable behavior.
Interesting.
And that's what we're dealing with throughout the industry. We're dealing with acceptable behavior. We're dealing with mediocre, not even mediocre lyrical content that's being fed to our children, but this is becoming acceptable behavior.
Wow.
And then she's got two heavyweights like T.I. and them standing there with her. It's acceptable behavior. Come on.
Well, you know, I'll tell you this. I think it's a great point. And one of the things that I love about each of you bring a powerful perspective. And one thing I can say about your perspective, Roger, that I think you can provide context on is that I've always, I don't know if you know this, Yarima, I always call Vigilante the hip-hopologist because
right.
I've really never met anybody who can really talk about hip-hop history from every single angle imaginable. I mean, just the way he brought up the whole Eminem thing, and we didn't know about that. I mean, that's what he does all the time, every day. And so, I want to ask you, Vigilante. So, let's talk about Iggy Azalea as an artist. When I see her climbing to the top of the charts doing the same thing that so many other black rappers have done, I think about the Larry Birds and the Elvis Presleys and, et cetera, right? But white folks buy these products, right? And they're buying black culture from black people, but maybe buying black culture from a white person in blackface is the preferred model, the preferred business model, right? So when you talk about Iggy, what kind of artist she is, where she stands, Nicki Minaj is already hating on her, which is another sign that she's having an impact, right? What do you see with her just as a pure hip hop artist? What do you see for her in the future?
I see she's a solo artist version of the group Black Eyed Peas. I think that she could do pop music and do. I think she got a little legs on her. I think she could go because she give you that. She's Robin Thicke and Justin Timberlake in a sense. But I give Robin Thicke a little bit more credit because he's a little more deeper into the culture when it comes to the music and style. But I think that what makes Nicki probably hate on her more is the fact that Nicki is a beast on the microphone, Dr. Boyce. She is a lyrical assassin, and she can probably give it to the guys when it comes to battling. I mean, she's a beast. She can be that sister that can really take that career. And I think she got enough space to change her style and be dope because she's lyrically talented. I don't think Iggy is on a lyrical tip. I think she's more about making hits. And I think that because she got this hit in, she's going to put you in the mind of, like I say, Black Eyed Peas to I see her being that without the two brothers with her doing it. I can see her doing that. So I see her as a cool artist that for the hip hop that we see now, I think that she would be doing pretty good because she got the right team around her to make the hits. As long as people buy into her doing it, I think she loves the music. I mean, I've seen her interviews and stuff. She wants to be taken serious as an artist. So I think there's room for growth because she's young in it. But I think that somebody got to school her real quick. And while they schooling her, they got to school Trina. They got to school a lot of other people to get in that class with her and to understand what this is really about. And I think that's why I give Robin Thicke a little more credit because he knows what this R&B is about, and you can see it in his music. And I think Iggy could be around. But if I had to put money on her versus Nicki, I got to roll with Nicki for longevity, Nicki for coming up in hip hop, because Nicki do know the true roots of hip hop. You know, this is the pop Nicki y'all seeing. We've seen the Nicki that's on the blocks, you know, battling and spitting for her. You know, she could have easily been in Queen of the Ring battle league. She's just that good that she could compete like that. I think Iggy is more of a person that's going to make hits, you know, pop hits as well as some soul hits, but pop hits. As long as she's with her team, she can have some good legs here. I don't see her like being a one-hit wonder. I see her doing more than that.
Okay. Now, Yarima, look, I want to ask you a question, and then you can finish off giving your perception on Iggy as well. Your perspective on hip hop, I think, is interesting too, because I remember when you and I talked in a previous interview, you mentioned that something I hadn't really thought about. You said, you know, that you had missed a lot of Biggie and Jay-Z and stuff like that, you know, while you were away. But yet so that to me says that you might be able to better appreciate what hip hop was before the huge downturn that took place over the last 20 years or so. You know, what is your take in terms of what does it say about hip hop? You know, when an artist like an Iggy Azalea is topping the charts, when you see the ignorance that's occurring in music. You even referred to a lot of hip hop today as crack cocaine for our children. Can you talk about that a little bit more?
Yeah, well. First of all, let me say I think it's par for the course for an Iggy to make it. I think that's par for the course. I think that it's going to be a lot easier for any white artist coming out in hip hop to make it. Justin Bieber, he's going to be just fine. Iggy's going to be just fine. M's going to be just fine. Who am I missing? Vigalante, the girl that's I mean, she's like nationally acclaimed, internationally acclaimed, real slim girl out of New York. She got the black management team. So they're going to be, they're going to be just fine. But when you ask that question, it takes me back to I think an article I was reading in 2005, 2006. Where they say that hip hop had dropped off like 20-30%, and they say that a lot of white people were stepping away from hip hop and said that they were going back to country until real hip hop came back, and they were basically talking about lyrical content and that sort of thing. And I think the article might have been in the U.S. News. It was in a major magazine. My take on it is exactly what I said. It is literally crack music for our kids. And if I had the time, I could actually sit here and give you the comparisons. They're very simple comparisons. When you talk about crack cocaine that wiped out literally wiped out whole communities across the U.S., and you talk about the music right now that's literally wiping out the minds of whole communities across the U.S. And as a matter of fact, music is even more of a detriment, because music affects nations. Music is the one sole thing that media people can move you. It can put you in a mood. You can listen to a beat. You don't even have to have lyrics to it. And it can put you in a mood. It can put you in a vibe to get angry. It can put you in a vibe to be sad. It can put you in a vibe to be happy. When I hear the song Happy, I kind of get happy. Even if I don't want to be, I'm kind of,
it's hard
you
to
know,
listen to that song and feel
and not,
sad.
yeah. So music, and that's music will do that to you without lyrics. So you add a real drop beat, and you put somebody talking about killing and murder and mayhem and chopping up cocaine and going out and selling and this be this and this H this.
Mm.
I don't care what psychologist comes out of Harvard. They can come from Columbia. They can come from Yale. You can't tell me that that doesn't affect the mind, because I was a kid once, and I know what listening to America's Most Wanted by Ice Cube what kind of state of mind that put me in. I know when they said F the police what I wanted to do, that's exactly what I wanted to do. So I know when Pop, when he did Soldier Story, what kind of mood that put me in.
Mm.
So, and you're talking about intelligent men now. But come on, man, that mood, that music is crack what they're doing right now. It's detrimental. It's detrimental to a lot of adults. So you can imagine what it's doing to kids.
Well, that's an interesting point that you make, and I'm gonna ask you guys each one more question, and then I'll let you guys get back to your day. But I'm enjoying this conversation. I always, people should know, I always learn so much from you guys. I mean, you two are like personal hip hop consultants for me, because you've put in the work to gain an understanding of life that so many people should hear from. And it's really unfortunate in our community how the biggest microphone has been unfortunately given to the most ignorant of us, as opposed to the people like yourself who have the ability to lift a community and not try to kill it. So Roger, I'm gonna Vigilante. I'm sorry, man. I keep calling you Roger because that's how we talk. But
it don't matter.
Okay, so Vigilante. I had a conversation yesterday with Dr. Monica Ogando, who's a psychologist who made points very similar to what Yarima just made. In fact, Yarima mentioned psychologists from Harvard and Yale and and other places, and I have yet to see any psychologist anywhere who can hear this music and say that it doesn't have an effect. I dare, if anybody's listening, I dare you to go find a quality, highly educated psychologist who will come on the air and say that this music does not have an effect. If you listen to the lyrics of, I always point to Lil Wayne's song "Gun Walk," where he's talking about shoot that nigga, kill that nigga, stomp that nigga. It's like, come on, give me a break, right? And then another couple songs that come to mind. I don't know if you guys have felt this same way. Back when 50 Cent was actually a rapper and not just a comedian and part-time hater. Remember when he came out with that first album? It was real hot and everybody was listening to it. And he had Many Men, and it was like, many men wish death upon me, and it put you in a certain mindset. God's coming to kill me. I have to stay strong. Have to deal with this. And then what did he do? He followed Dre. They did a brilliant thing. They followed it right up with "If I Can't Do It, Homie, It Can't Be Done." So it's like he took you down. He gave you the heroin, then he gave you the cocaine and lifted you up, right? And I felt like that was deliberate. We don't want to keep the spirit down. We want to lift it up. So there's the power to this music. So following up on Yarima's point, Vigilante, I know you've been outspoken about what's going on in your home city of Kansas City, which it seems like that rivals Chirac, where I live, in terms of the violence and the chaos that you've seen. I have a theory on this, and I want to get your take on this. I believe that when you talk about people that work over at Negro Entertainment Television, otherwise known as BET, I think that part of the reason that they're not sensitive to the impact of this music is because they're not living in the hoods where people are getting shot. In fact, even in your own family, you had to recently deal with, two deaths, a double funeral within the last 2 or 3 weeks in your own family. I don't want to put too much of your business out here, but so. Do you think that that's part of the reason why they promote this and they don't care about the effects, is because it's not affecting them?
I think that's part of it. I think there's an indifference towards really the black plight. Now, I look at it, even you come from academia, Boyce. I look at even how the schools deal with want to educate black people. They're not on the list no more of being the first one to service. It's more Hispanics and people that's overseas, preaching that type of diversity, and kind of left us in the background. So they figured that we every time we speak about what we're going through, y'all still talking about that. It's been 400 years, or they act like the 60s wasn't that right down the street. So it's like there's an indifference towards us. That's why, because if we can celebrate other cultures saying nigga, we can celebrate them and lift them up and black on black crime each other, shoot the neighborhoods up, call each other ratchet and all this stuff, and go world star when I punch somebody out and stuff like that. That shows for a person that don't care about you that you don't care about yourself either. So if you don't care about yourself, why should I care about you? Y'all always complain, but look what y'all do. CPT, I did something on CPT. Color People's Time, to me, is an indictment. It shouldn't, but we take that indictment of CPT and we wear it with a badge of honor. But to me, it's a diss. Every time they say CPT, it's saying that black people are not capable of being on time, are not capable of being important and smart and capturing the moment. See, the thing is, we CPT with everything. We CPT when it comes to those guys that you, sadly, I saw in Your Black World, these athletes once again getting in trouble for assault and things like that. So when you see all this stuff come and it sells, those headlines sell, then BET, just like what the Boondocks did with the show, is that it's about the more evil you are, evil TV, the more evil you are, the better you win. You hear my brothers who was locked down, in the Bean for 20 years, come out with a great album. Where's the push? You know me, my stance. I put a great album out. Where's the push? But if we speak about that, then we're the bitter MCs. We're bitter. We're haters. You know what I'm saying? What we're saying is, so I blame, honestly, this is just my personal belief, I blame the consumers. Because if the consumers change and said that I'm not going to support that, and what I mean by this, and this is going to shock you, and I ain't talking about the ones that support the thug stuff. You know where I blame more? It's the so-called people that say that they're righteous. Because guess what? They are buying the thug stuff too, and they're not buying the so-called righteous. Because if every righteous person that said they tired of the sagging pants, tired of the thug stuff, then they would take a person like me, him, or whoever doing common or whoever doing positive, and they would make them platinum. And guess what happens? When they do, kids follow what's in the front. When we was coming up, man, when you talk about the 90s and the late 80s, don't worry, be happy with the number one jam. Damn, if I said you could slap me right here, when he was saying about that, we're happy. See, this song, I like the song by him, but it ain't nothing to be happy about right now. That's why I like Common's new album title, Nobody's Smiling. Because you stay in my hometown, Chicago. There ain't nothing to smile about with all the deaths you just saw this weekend. It's nothing to smile about. But what's happened is we see these rappers throwing champagne up, partying, spending money. You saw with Chris Brown, who just got out of trouble, throwing up signs because the goons, the bullies with the fullies, like I said in my thing, are making the revolution step back. Because guess what? If me and Yarima say something about Game, Game might step to us. And I know he's not scared, I'm not scared, but other rappers ain't going to do that. Look at these conscious rappers. They're not doing what they used to do. Why? Because they got goons with these thugs that will step to them. That will step to them. So you ain't going to see them really call out Game or call out T.I. or call out anybody like that. They'll rather be friends with them and break bread instead of saying, fight the power for real. If you're acting like this, you look at what Hot 97 did. Rosenberg dissed Chuck D. Chuck D. And it took Star of Shot97.com to call him out and say, why ain't nobody winning Rosenberg's jaw for talking about Chuck D like that? And then he finally put out an apology yesterday, saying that he shouldn't have said that. He went at Chuck D because the revolution is ducked in their head. And what happened is the thugs is taking over. So the TV execs say, we're making money. We're making money, and I don't live there. It ain't gonna mess with my kids who go to this great magnet school, and she get in the suburbia. So it's not hurting me in Chirac because I stay in Richmond Park. I stay in Homewood, Illinois. It's not hurting me. So that's the thing. Until we realize that the so-called righteous people, the so-called conscious people, have taken a step back because we're scared to take that risk now. We're not risk takers anymore. We're scared. If I say something about Game, if Game come to Kansas City, or if I'm in L.A., he might walk up to me. He might, like Chirac guys are so bold, they went up to Game and said, hey, is there a problem? Them guys from Lil Durk then went to L.A. and asked Game, if there's a problem, let's step outside. They came from Chicago to L.A. Instead of saying two men handled it like professionals, you know what they said on the Twitter? Oh, boy, those Chicago guys, man, they went to L.A. See, we get off on that. So as long as we get off on that, they going to make money, and they ain't going to change the programming for nothing in the world because they got to compete with VH1, who, in a sense, exploit the situation, and all these different things. They're not going to do it. You're going to take Arsenio Hall off the air because why? Because you're showing black doing other things. You got the guy that was doing a poem that was talking about being a father, talking about the system and all that stuff. They don't want that to happen. So that's what it is, man. And that's why I know I went on, but that's why I don't even blame BET, because I blame the people who can make a difference that don't make a difference. Comfortably numb.
Okay, Yarima, I'll let you get the last word in.
Oh no, I think the brother said it prolifically well. I mean, it as long as we're condoning, and as long as we're not sticking together, as long as we're not a fist and we're this fragmented hand, they're gonna always make us a nice commodity to make money off of. They're gonna, and that's the way it's gonna be. That's the way it has been. We have been a commodity to make money off of. None of this stuff would be happening if people stood there. I just say, whenever somebody asks me, I say, look at the example of the Jews. Look at the example of the Jews. I was in prison. I think the whole time I was in prison, almost 20 years, I might have met 4 Jews my whole 20-year bit. I was around Asians, I was around Hispanics, I was around many blacks, and was around whites. Rarely met any Jews up in there, because the Jews, they come together. They stick together. We're not going for it. And if just like Vigalante was talking about the schools, oh, you people keep crying. Well, if we were one fist moving as one unit, they wouldn't be saying that. They would be saying, how can we accommodate you? Why? Because we are the money. We are the money. We take this money out of the society. They're hurting. They're hurting. If we're producing almost, we're what is it, 600 and some billion, 700 and some billion? Come on, they're hurting. But until we understand that lesson, and unfortunately we're going to have to fall. Unfortunately, there's going to have to be a fall. So that revolutionary movement is going to have to be on the back burner right now, because like you said, it's a fragmented movement. If I got to compete with Game, T.I., I just shared a post on my Facebook where Lil Wayne is doing a little video talking about, yeah, I'm in the studio. He says something to the effect like, about to create some more BS. Yeah, but I appreciate you guys for buying. You know how many people I had argue with me that, oh, he didn't mean that? Bruh, he just said it out of his own mouth, and you're going to sit here and argue and tell me he was just playing, he didn't mean it? Come on. So that's it. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. Wow. When your favorite rapper is saying this, telling you that he's feeding you BS, garbage, and then you're still going to argue and say, no, he didn't mean it, he was just playing. Come on.
Wow. Well, I tell you, Lil Wayne may be ratchet, but he is smart enough to make $100 million selling bullshit, and he's also smart enough. He's smart enough to know how to be ignorant enough to convince you to buy the bullshit, and that's what we up against. Well, I tell you, I think you guys make great points, and the last point about the Jews, you might mute that mic, would you, Yarima? Would you?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sorry
Thanks.
about that.
No, sorry. I think I heard a school bus or something. I remember the one time I had that chance to talk to Minister Farrakhan. People accuse him of being anti-Semitic, but it's really interesting how he spent probably 20 minutes of our conversation talking about his admiration for the way the Jewish community sticks together. And he said that's what we have to understand when it comes to building wealth, when it comes to building power, when it comes to moving our community forward as opposed to backwards. And you guys are an important part of that, and I really want to do all I can to support you as you move, as you thrust yourselves to the front of what hip-hop is supposed to be. Not everybody's going to get on board, but they'll either get left behind or get took out as you do what's necessary to protect our children and community. So I respect you for that. So everybody, these guys, I want you to go check out their websites. Roger Suggs is Vigilante. That's his hip hop name. It's spelled Vigalantee. He's not only a hip hop artist, but he's also an activist out of Kansas City. He's been in the game for a while. He understands hip hop better than anybody I know. I think you should go check out his website, therealvigilante.com. And my other brother is Yarima Karama at yarimakarama.com. That's YARIMAKARAMA, or YARIMAKARAMA. And he's a 20-year veteran of the new Jim Crow. But he has come out as one of the great scholars of our community, and that's why I respect him so much. So I want to say thank you guys very much. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you, brother.
Wake up, zombies. We in zombie land, y'all. I'm telling you, buddy, get this stuff together. We are in zombie land, man.
World War Z, like the Brad Pitt movie.
Yep.
Well, not all of us are zombies. Some of us have woken up, and it's funny you even use the zombie analogy. Since we mentioned Mr. Farrakhan, I'll mention him again. When we had our event last year in Chicago, the first thing that he said about the black community at our event, and people can go, if they want to go buy the DVD of the event, they can at the Your Black World store. The first thing he said about the black community is he said, when a body is dead, nobody wants to be around it. It stinks. No matter how much you love that person when they were alive, when they are dead, you don't want that body around you. And he said the point was, he said, black people, you are dead. And so that fits perfectly with the zombie analogy. And I believe that there's a part of our community that's coming to life, and it's our job to resurrect it. So everybody watching, thank you so much for checking us out at Your Black World. And until we meet again, please stay strong, be blessed, and be educated. We are gone. Peace.